Low self-esteem, the feeling of being a bother, thinking 1,000 times before giving your opinion in front of others. Many of these symptoms affect people with ADHD, and I was one of them. I invested in self-knowledge, tried various strategies, and after a lot of training and practice, I developed a method to overcome all of this. And you can also learn about this method in the first link in the description. Hey ADHD, how are you doing? I am Yuri Maya from TDH Descomplicado. And you might be wondering, what's the good side? What's the good part about having ADHD? In a recent video, I mentioned that there are no advantages to having ADHD. A lot of people think that ADHD can be a superpower, that it can be associated with above-average intelligence, but that's not really how it works. Even though there's this idea that people with ADHD tend to stand out a lot at a certain point in their lives, the reality is that people with ADHD can have any level, any spectrum of intelligence. In other words, you can have ADHD and have intelligence on average, below average, or above average too. But getting back to the topic of this video, what would be the good side of having ADHD? And there are indeed things that I can mention that are a positive consequence of having ADHD. Not ADHD brings to you. You get that? One thing I think is really cool about people with ADHD is that they tend to have a good heart, they are usually good listeners, and they often show a certain altruism towards others. Maybe it's even a result of the difficulties that people with ADHD normally face. The way people treat that individual with ADHD, they understand the need to be a good listener. Having a certain compassion for others is one point. Another point that I find very interesting, which has a lot to do with people who have ADHD, is our incredible resilience. People with ADHD are usually very determined because they face many obstacles throughout their lives, because they often go beyond triviality. That is, they are unable to live a normal life. They go to school, pass their grades, go to college. Usually they manage to do that. They have to find some shortcuts along the way, find other ways to reach their goals. We end up becoming very resilient people. People who don't give up easily. People who fight hard to have what they really want. And it's a point closely related to our ADHD, align brilliance with life. Our brilliance, what we can excel at in an important area of our lives. In other words, if you can bring together your genius, the part you excel at, with the environment you're in, the job you've got, or whatever it may be, you can really stand out a lot. You can really show what you're truly made of, dive into that activity, and you have the ability to go much further. However, that's not a rule. Most people with ADHD, as I mentioned earlier, face a lot of difficulties precisely because, in most cases, their genius isn't present in their environment. In other words, a great facilitator in our lives, for people with ADHD, it's really about shaping your environment, the place where you study, the activity you engage in, the work you do, being aligned with what you love to do, with your great aptitude. All right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to follow us on social media. And if you want to know more about how to overcome ADHD in your daily life, don't miss out on being part of the ADHD in Action Club. Click on the card that's around here. Join our club. We have a vibrant community in there. I'm in that community. Also, in addition to weekly classes with new topics to help you in your daily life to overcome life with ADHD. All right? So I'll see you in the next video. See you later. Bye. Many of us who have the disorder face difficulties in maintaining relationships. It seems like we never get it right with anyone. People come and go for the same reasons. With the ADHD in Action Club, you'll get to know yourself better and learn how to change the game. Check out the first link in the description.